Hey guys, welcome back to another Protein Bros podcast. My name is Thatcher. I'm one of the producers here for the podcast. Today we had on Caleb Blankenship, the owner and founder of the Body Shop Gym. Now they have a well-known location over in Overland Park, and they're just about to have their grand opening for their brand spanking new location over at Lee Summit. It is gorgeous. It's amazing. Today when we had him on, we talked about the struggles to open it up, everything he had to go through, what his team had to go through, you know, a story of perseverance and how a good guy and a good team can make it all work. Now, we couldn't be more proud of him. We couldn't be more proud of the new gym, and we're so excited to show it off to you guys. July 15th is their grand opening. You have to be there. I hope you guys love this podcast, and as always, please, if you love it, like, subscribe, share it on your stories. We really appreciate all that. Now, let's get you to the podcast.
I think I've gone through 2 pairs of Crocs since then. I was just in pain all the time. Yeah.
Dang, I'm so upset I didn't wear my Crocs for you today. That should have been the first thing I thought
forgot.
of.
Have you worn those Crocs?
I absolutely have. I've posted about it.
Yeah.
How do you know when Crocs have been completely worn out as shoes?
The bottoms get smooth and you start to slip and fall on almost every slick surface.
Yeah.
So you can walk in the parking lot and it's wet and you're fine. Not with Crocs. You'll eat shit.
Wow.
How do you feel about these these shoes that people are trying to make cool, cane footwear?
Those are uglier than Crocs. Marcus wears those, and I make fun of him all the time.
Why does he wear those?
He says they're better than Crocs.
And why are they better than the Crocs?
I don't know. They just look like a rubber shoe.
Yeah, I mean,
these remind me of sandals, but
oh my God,
I don't want my entire foot encased in rubber.
Kyle, in case you didn't know, former guest on the Protein Bros podcast, Sal Frisella, went out of his way to make a massive post saying that he bought them matching for his entire family.
Oh, interesting.
He's like, I don't care. I like them. And I'm like, what is there to like?
How are those Crocs with soles, right?
They're Crocs with more athletic soles?
Yeah, I guess there's really not much of a difference, but to me, it's just different. I don't know. Once my heel's locked into something, it feels different.
Do you ever bedazzle your Crocs?
Yeah.
Giblets?
I had a giblet.
On
I had a giblet that said Body Shop Gym, and then one of my clients, he 3D printed me turbochargers and engines that go on the top and spoilers.
Oh, ballers! When you go into turbo mode or
Dude,
whatever,
they were
sport
so
mode.
Sick. Sport mode, yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm down with the Crocs lingo. So do you follow Alex Hormozy at all?
I think I just started following him.
Entrepreneurial guy.
Yeah, I know who he is.
He's ungodly. That's amazing. The buzzsaws back there.
Oh no, those are spurs, bub.
Oh my God. Those were there was so much blade on the other pair.
That's when you hop on your horse and you don't have time to grab your cowboy boots.
I have so much respect if anybody walk around.
Look at the dump truck.
Someone has truck nuts on their Crocs. There's a pair of truck nuts.
God.
All right. All I'm getting at is
Those are next.
So
we could get those branded with the S2 truck nuts.
My gosh.
And sell those in store.
That's branding 101. But Alex Hormozy talks about his shoes because he wore Crocs forever. And he is he's a gazillionaire, but wears, jorts and wife beaters every day.
I love it.
Right. And he's like, believe it or not, but I have tried on over 100 different pairs of shoes. And he's like, I'm really, really if I can just limit the amount of decisions I have to make every day, I can focus more on my work. So I just get rid of all of the other decisions and just know exactly what shoes, exactly what shirt, exactly what shorts I'm going to wear every single day. And it's never a problem. Right. And he was trying all these different shoes. And he said the Crocs, though he can wear them, to most things, he said your feet get super sweaty in them. Do you find that to be an issue?
Oh, I always wear socks.
He said he can't stay ready.
I'm a sock Croc guy.
Okay.
But I have
2 more items he has to put on, so
always
Alex
sweat.
is like, no.
So then I don't want to slip out.
I'm with you.
So I like to wear socks.
So yeah, he doesn't go any, he wears basically he's settled on these pair of fisherman sandals that are webbed, right?
I love it.
Where they they just have a little bit mandals, if you will. But have a sneaker bottom, kind of like the cane footwear.
Okay.
And he's like, I wear these because I can go into restaurants that only allow closed-toed shoes. I can work out in these. I can run in these. He's like, I can do anything possible in these. And he settled on those.
It always
seen him?
blows my I've seen him. It always blows my mind when people are like, I'm just trying to eliminate all this, the Steve Jobs. I'm just going to wear the same thing every day. I'm like, who are these people that are in their closet with looking at their clothes this is such a hard decision?
It worked
I'm like, guys, it's literally not that hard. It takes 2 seconds to be like, I'm wearing this and I'm wearing this.
Luke, just Google Alex Hormozy shoes.
I don't know.
Or
I wear my
TikTok
Crocs
it?
almost every day, but I have Jordan 1s. I have 270Cs. Like I have nicer shoes for when I want to look nicer.
Yeah.
But it's like I do my cardio in my Crocs in the morning. I take my dog for my walk in my Crocs. I'll do my cardio prep in my Crocs. Like I'll wear them all the time. It's just when I want to look nicer, I'll wear nicer shoes because I feel like that does like kind of set up the outfit. But like 9 times out of 10, it's just
Socks
easy.
and Crocs.
Or I'll throw them on to take my dog out, and I'm like getting my stuff ready for the morning, and then I forget to change my shoes, and then I leave for the day in the Crocs anyways.
Caleb, we brought you on this podcast to ask you this question. What do you have against slides?
I don't know. I just don't. I think.
Have you ever thought about a nice Nike slide?
Yeah. So what it is that I have a skin condition. So I really do. I promise.
Interesting turn.
So
Some guy says he has a condition. You guys crack up. You guys are
Because I'm like, where's this going that is relevant to the
I
Nike
have like
slides?
crazy dry skin, but at the same time, my hands and my feet get very sweaty, like very easily. So my feet will just sweat for no reason. So when I'm in stuff like that, I slip and slide in the slides, and then my feet get disgusting from the dirt, and so my feet never stay dry all the time. So I prefer to wear socks. So like even when I wear flip flops, it's still an issue. But I do like flops.
Yeah,
Man, I've tried slides and I
So
own
thanks
it.
for making fun of me.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
you're welcome.
I have a skin condition.
I'll do it all the time. This whole podcast just making fun of Caleb. No.
Have you guys ever been in a situation where your feet were too fat for a slide where they like just slip off the top because like they can't stay where they're at because your feet are too fat?
No, but
Does that make sense? Like my feet are too
time-
wide, so like they're just
Yeah.
fixed, right? Like they're not a strappy
Yeah.
slide. So like my feet slide in, and I have to like jam them in there, and then it just slowly falls off the front because like they can't go down any further.
I only had one time like that. It was after a show in 2016, and I just went ballistic.
You had
I
you
had
had a
full
little
on
bit.
edema in my ankle.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
I was swollen. I was in so much pain. I don't know. I started the day off really good. Like I barely ate. I ate like some fruit. I ate some oatmeal, and then everywhere I went,
This is that
I
day.
just ate. No, this was in, what was this?
Those are the reefs, man. Those are
21?
those
Yeah,
are
they
those
had
are bottle
that
openers.
bottle opener on the bottom. Yeah,
The Mick
We had-
Fannings actually.
we
I
had
believe
friends
is the,
over for
this-
dinner
the
a
model.
week ago, and we actually had to open up her. We got those like real Mexican Cokes from El Torito.
AKA cane sugar.
Yeah, that's good shit, man.
Respect.
And I didn't have a bottle opener, so we just had to use my shoe.
Oh, hey, that's what they're there for.
And then she wanted another one, so she had to go find my shoe to open it.
Caleb, it's been a minute since you've been on. We're psyched that you're here. You got a new gym that you just opened up in Lee Summit. We love the Lee Summit community. Tell Lee Summit what they should expect from Body Shop.
Oh, man, it's going to be one of a kind 24-hour gym. I don't think you can go really anywhere in the Kansas City area and find a community like ours. Our environment, you have hand-picked equipment, but really our staff, I think, truly is what makes the environment. It's so welcoming. Like you walked into other gyms, you feel welcome, but like we try to treat everyone like family. So like even when you sign up, we say welcome to the family. We want you to feel comfortable, whether you are trying to get on stage or you are just trying to get up off your couch. Like this is a spot where you can come in, and we've created a gym where it's just all about effort. It doesn't matter where you're at in your fitness journey. We just want to see the effort, and that's all we care about. And it's rewarded. We love to see it. So I feel like you don't go to many gyms where you can hit a PR and you can rack it and you have people like clap for you because like they've seen your journey and they're just excited to see it. And I think that's truly what sets us apart is our culture, our atmosphere, and our staff is just second to none.
What's the reward? That's inspiring for starters. But as far as the rewards go, do you guys have anything else in mind when it comes to people that are hitting milestones? Is there like a recognition on the walls? I'm just trying to get a picture for everybody.
Right now, we don't. We're actually talking about in Lee Summit starting a PR wall. We have a big black wall right by our bench presses because we kind of call it like our powerlifting corner.
Sure.
And I think we want to start one there. We've talked about it in OP. We just don't know where to put it.
Sure.
But that's kind of like we've talked about it in the past, but it's like that fine line to where like we want to put it up, but not turn into like a powerlifting gym. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
That's not our niche. So it's like, what can we do to reward these people and reward their efforts, but like not go out of our niche, if that makes sense.
Yeah, if we can have a milestone wall versus it being a PR wall, right? Where
I
it's
love
like
that,
so and so had 30 check-ins out of 30 days in June. That's a good milestone. You know?
We're actually just starting that. I got on with my managers. We actually just had a meeting, and we're getting back onto our social media game. We've been really bad about that. And one of our posts each week is supposed to be about either a member appreciation or like something about the gym, whether it's like it's either highlighting a member or a member talking about what they love about the gym to start to promote that out within the community a little more.
Well, your guys' community is really strong, man. I mean, every time we've ever done anything partner-wise with you guys, the community shows up, man.
Yeah.
People absolutely love the Body Shop.
It's crazy.
It's awesome to see.
You know, when I got back from getting equipment, and it was like 10 o'clock at night on a Thursday, and we had like 12 people there waiting to help us unload. And I offered to buy pizza for everyone if they would have waited, because one of our trucks broke down. And I was like, hey, if this truck can be in the next 2 hours, you guys mind staying? I'll buy everyone pizza. And they were all down. This was a Thursday night. And like these people all had jobs to go to the next day, and they were willing to stay there till midnight to unload equipment just to help us out.
That's amazing. That's like you can't get anywhere with that.
I worked out there the other day. It's a big facility, man. What? How many square foot is it?
8,000.
That's a big jump from the original Body Shop, right?
Yeah, I think the first one was 2,400, and then a year later we expanded to 4,800, and then we went to 8,000.
That's awesome, man.
Have you had a hard time filling the 8,000 square feet up with all this hand-picked equipment? I didn't think OP was missing anything in my mind.
You know, I feel like it's always missing something that you want, and I wanted to do better about that within Lee Summit. You know, first being like I wanted more squat racks, because I hate when I come in and people are waiting on squat racks. So, you know, even though we're only 8,000 square feet, we have 5 squat racks. I wanted people to have plenty of bench presses, plenty of deadlift platforms. So we tried to really make sure that we had multiples of what I felt like we needed, and then fill in the gaps with the equipment. So honestly, we filled up pretty quick. Like I was supposed to have more equipment, but it just didn't pan out.
Sure.
Which is honestly kind of a blessing in disguise, because now we're able to add stuff. So I added, you know, I left my house at 4 o'clock this morning, and I went and got a Body Masters hack squat. Next week I have a what I call extreme row and a belt squat coming in. So it's like, it's kind of nice, because where OP's at, it's so packed out with the equipment that in order to bring something in, I have to take something out. And I hate doing that, because it's like
Somebody uses it.
It doesn't matter if like it never get uses. There's going to be 1 or 2 people that like love it. You know what I mean? And it's like, I hate taking something away even though I'm adding something new, versus
Sure.
Lee Summit. We can continue to add a few more pieces before like we're really tapped out.
Right. Luke, can you tell me what's Caleb's original episode number when you get a chance? You know, it's been over a year. Is it episode 8? Episode 8.
It was pretty
Wow,
early. We were,
dude.
like I said, we were
8.
still in your house. I know it was pretty early.
Let's
yeah,
go.
man. So for anybody who's new to hearing about Caleb's story, this is now episode, I believe, 67. So it's definitely been quite some time since you've been on. You know, Tati, your wife, been through so much, you know what I mean, to get to this spot. And the reason why we do this podcast, guys, in case you didn't know, we don't make it clear enough, I think, sometimes, is to take people who have completely, you know, burned the boats, if you will, to go all in on making a career out of fitness. And Caleb is one of these great, amazing examples of people that I can point at and say, this guy had every excuse to quit, not make fitness his career, work a 9 to 5, whatever it may be, give up on his dreams. You know what I mean? And at one point, you know, the part that touched me the most was when you talked about just more or less like having to pick which bills to pay, because like you just knew you couldn't pay them and you were getting your phone shut off.
Phone shut off.
Yep.
And that part always sticks with me. But talk to me about, you know, what changed for you in your mindset, or how did you stick with it? I don't know where you were able to stick with it, but the whole purpose of having these conversations is to take somebody who right now is thinking, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to make a living in fitness. I don't know what habits I need to create. I don't know what I'm missing here. But like, what is that secret sauce for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think first and foremost, you know, I was lucky enough to have a wife like Tatiana that at one point I remember like having my head in her lap crying, and I didn't know what to do. And she was like, just pull your head out of your ass. Like, we're going to be okay. Like, go after it. Like, if this is what you want to do, like, don't be a pussy. Do it. And I was like, all right. And then I think it was just like, it was having to make a decision. Like, I didn't want to go back to bartending, and we had that conversation. I think at one point you even offered me to come work in the stores. And I was really at that crossroads, and then I ended up finding the MFCEO project. You guys had posted so much about it, and I never listened to podcasts, and that really changed my mindset. And I just had to start changing my mind from the moment that I woke up. I realized I couldn't do poor me because I wasn't doing enough to get it back. So here I was waiting for things to happen to me, and they just weren't happening. I had to go out and make it happen. And, you know, it took more effort. And, you know, I hate to rip off Grant Cardone here. I just finished his book, but it literally took 10 times more than what I thought it was going to take. And then, you know, within a couple months, it exploded. You
got honest with yourself. You know,
it takes
sounds
what
like,
it takes, man.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing with success. A lot of times people want to put, you know, conditions on it and say, you know, I'll give it this until, you know, this happens. But, you know, if you are truly of the mindset of like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to, you know, open a gym and then eventually open 2 gyms, it's like, you know, it takes what it takes. And, you know, that's for you going to the brink of, you know, being completely broke to make that happen, you know?
Yeah. I mean, we were, you know, it was actually, it was funny because it almost happened twice, because I started my training business and my son was born, and our phones were shut off in the hospital, and we were on WIC, we were on food stamps, like we were eating dinner at her mom's house. Like really neither one of our families knew how broke we were until the baby was here and our shit got shut off. You know what I'm saying? And it took us a while, and we built up, and, you know, we had moved and we started kind of creating this cushion. You know, I was making pretty decent money at the time. I was supporting a family of 3. My wife was going to school full time. She was working on the weekends, things like that, and being a great mom. And then, you know, Worlds comes and they sell, and it was like knocked us on our ass all over again. And I was like, what am I going to do? And I remember I called you, Jeff.
Yeah, you're straight starting over.
I was like, yeah, I mean, we basically got knocked down, and we had to start over. You know, luckily we had a little cash saved up, but it had gotten to a point to where we didn't know where we were going to go, because I put in a 30-day notice and they fired me in the middle of a session.
Yeah.
You know, I got escorted out. So I left World Gym with literally maybe
and
one or two clients.
Let's be clear on this. That was, you were leaving Genesis.
Genesis. Yeah. I'm sorry.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just saying like, dude, a guy that has got a little son and a guy that's married and he's trying to provide for his family, and you walk up to him in the middle of a session and tell him there's the door and walk him out. That was like
the big man himself.
It's hard.
At least I'm proud that it was him.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rodney Stevens.
Yeah.
But man, that's just we've had discussions about Genesis and so forth at times, and it's like they are a really successful gym.
Yeah.
But man, it's hard to hear stories like that and be okay with it.
You know, they do their thing. It's it works for them. It doesn't work for everyone else. You know, I would not like that. And I hope that I would never ever do that. I mean, I know I wouldn't do that to somebody. You know what I mean? But it works for them. And you know, what do you say? I mean, I walked out and I called you, I called my wife, and honestly, my wife is where I found the studio that we went to. You know, shout out to JQ's BFit too. Gary and JQ, they really hooked us up, and to this day, we still consider them family. I mean, they took us in and gave us a spot to come in and train, and you know, we struggled, and then next thing you know, it's like I blew up so fast that I hired Holly. You know, I needed help, and then next thing you know, a year down the road, we're looking at opening the gym during shutdown. You know, it just kind of snowballed so fast that I don't even know if we still really even realized what we've done, because I was thinking about today, this is our 3rd grand opening 3 years in a row. Mm-hmm. Like we opened the first one and then we expanded and we had another grand opening for the expansion, and now we're doing it for Lee Summit. And it's like, sometimes when you sit back and think, it's like you almost don't even realize what's transpired over the last 3 to 4 years, because it's happened so fast and you haven't had time to think about it, because it's like we get one done and I'm like, all right, well, what's next? What's next?
Don't ever lose
next?
that mindset, dude, because the moment you stop trying to grow is the moment you start, you know.
It's always one way or the other.
It's always one way or the other.
You can't just chill.
And I had a conversation with my wife the other day, and I've really gotten into reading lately. And one of my good friends, like he's gotten me really into it. And I finished reading 10X and a couple other books. One really good one was called Vivid Vision, and it's about marking out what you want to do for your company for the next 3 years. And those 2 books, I feel like I've been coasting for the last year and a half. You know, I feel like you get to that dangerous spot to where you know, let's think about Rocky 3. You know, he's fighting, he gets to the top, and then it's like you start making a little bit of money, your life's a little easier, and then it's like, man, this is nice. And you get kind of soft, and then you kind of get punched in the face and knocked out. And we didn't get knocked out, but it's like it made me realize that I've kind of been coasting the last year, and it's like, how much more could we have done? And that really just kind of pisses me off. That I did that to myself, and even more, I almost feel like I disrespected my wife and my kid by doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. You're in a spot where it's like, I'll put it this way, you wouldn't have this perspective if you didn't actually go through that, though.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And, you know, it only takes hopefully one time to learn a lesson, right? We all have to learn it. And so,
also,
go ahead.
Also, your your perception of like how much effort you're putting into something can change over time.
Yeah.
So if you read
Relative.
a book and it makes you realize that, it's all that book did was make you level up.
Yeah.
So until you basically came across that knowledge, it was just, you're doing, what you've always expected to be hard work. And then you read something or somebody comes into your life that influences you and it makes you level up. And hopefully that never
standards
stops.
are going up for yourself.
For sure. And that's one of the reasons I really tried to get into reading was because, I have dreams of, I want to have like 100 employees one day. I want to be running like a pretty big company with these gyms. So it's like, if that's going to happen, I have to keep getting better. I can't keep doing what I'm doing now.
Sure.
And I'm an okay leader. I had to be a great leader. You know what I mean? Because it starts with me and it trickles down. So it's like, if I can't keep my stuff together and I can't hold my managers accountable and I can't teach my managers, then they don't have anything to teach.
Yeah.
And that's what really got me into
Hardest
it.
thing to do in business, man.
Yeah.
Hardest thing to do in business.
You got to detach from the daily operations of things and look very clearly at like what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are, and just attack those weaknesses, man.
For sure.
Because it's really easy to get in the habit of not being able to look at your weaknesses.
For sure.
So, but that's awesome, man. What's been the hardest thing about opening a second gym?
Man, I really haven't told people about this, but I told you. You weren't on the ruck. I don't know where you were, but
he was on the road.
were you?
I was all the way in the back. No, I'm just playing. I was probably leading the pack.
I thought you weren't there.
Kyle was there.
Maybe, I don't know.
Fred couldn't be there, but
Maybe it was
Kyle and Bob were
yeah.
there. Yeah.
I was extremely hungover that.
I was surprised that took the energy out of me.
Shout out to Jordan Ward. We had his bachelor party the night before, and we had a party bus for like 10 hours.
Can't believe Kyle and I weren't invited.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thanks for nothing, Jordan.
Thanks, bud.
I was in the wedding, if that
Jordan,
makes
shout
any
out.
difference.
Changing
but
my insurance, by the way.
we got home at like 1 a.m. My dad had to come pick me up because I was in not a state to drive, and I told Jeff I would be here, and I think my wife woke me up at like 8:15. She was like, "Babe, you gotta go." And I was
How did I convince you to do this?
You guilted me into it by saying you're my friend. I think you can make it.
He's the worst.
It's ridiculous,
guys.
Friends would be there for each other.
It's a very specific way of saying.
He
it.
He said,
"I know you're going to be there."
No, you said, "I know you can make it." You know why? Why?
Because you're my friend.
Dude. Shut up! Don't talk to me.
I have a very easy reply to that. I'm just like, I'm not your friend.
Well, he wouldn't tell me what it was until after I agreed. And then
it's.
I mean, honestly, we lucked out because you wanted like some 18-mile thing, and I would not have made it. Looking back,
looking back, I probably wouldn't have either.
So I show up on like 7 hours of, I guess you can call it sleep. Extremely hungover, no food, no water. I had my 30-pound weight vest, and we got after it. And I had to get an IV after. I thought I was dying. It was great.
Happy birthday! It was awesome.
I wish that I would have walked next to you a little bit more because I was not aware of how hard you were taking things.
Oh, it was brutal. Yeah. But so about a month out, maybe 6 weeks from us opening, I got a phone call from, I've been using this equipment guy in Arkansas. He did all of our equipment for the expansion besides like our arsenal stuff. And he was doing the entire gym. Okay, not a big deal. We had payment plans set out, whatever it may be. I get a call from his fiance, and things weren't going very well. I'm not going to get into what they had going on, but the basis of the call was that they were filing bankruptcy. And so, I was trying to be a good friend, and I was there, and I listened to everything. But at the end, I still had to be like, well, I'm not trying to like be a dick here, but what about my equipment? You know what I mean? I have a gym opening. And
did you have a deposit in with him too? That's the other thing. Does he have your money in his hands?
I had paid about 60%, and it was,
were they doing the financing, or did you have financing through a bank?
So to this point, we have not financed anything.
Oh, that's
so cool. That.
Congrats, by the way.
Thank you.
That's huge deal.
Very hard to do in the fitness.
Now,
very rare.
Moving forward, I do plan to start financing, but we haven't wanted to deal with banks. So literally, and this is what's funny is that people are like, "Oh, get this," and it's like, dude, give me a second, because every dime that Body Shop has made has literally gone into Body Shop. Mm-hmm. So when we signed the lease for Lee Summit, I had like $15,000 saved. That was it, because we had put all of our money into everything else. I had to pay a security deposit, and my wife was like, "How are we going to do this?" And I was like, "I don't know. We'll figure it out." So I had been paying our equipment guy monthly, so I had paid him a pretty large chunk, and I didn't know if we were going to have equipment. And, I've been talking to him.
Or if you were going to get your money back.
That was a key variable for me.
Well, I was
man.
not getting the money back.
A lot of people were
100%.
running. Yeah.
I was not getting the money back. And so, long story short, this was about the most stressful 2 weeks I've ever had. I hardly ate. I had almost constant diarrhea for 2 weeks because at this point, it was such a big ordeal that like Nick Trigili was doing videos on this guy, like because a lot of people were out money. And this was like turning into a very large lawsuit.
For our listeners, who is Nick?
Nick Trigili. He is a retired pro bodybuilder. He also runs, was it BS and bodybuilding? I
No
think?
bullshit bodybuilding.
No bullshit bodybuilding. Yeah, he does a lot
He's
of
got a
videos.
channel on
He's kind of like the
YouTube.
news guy.
Yeah.
I don't mind him. I just feel like it's always so negative, and so I don't follow him because it's like
It's clickbaity.
yes, but it's like I just can't stand having constant negativity on my feed, so I don't follow it.
Agreed. Yeah.
But at this point, people are sending me these videos because they know who I deal with for equipment. I don't know what to say, and no one knows. My managers didn't know because I couldn't risk it getting out that we were 6 weeks from opening and we had no equipment. You know, it was a very stressful time, and I got a call and it was like, hey, the bank is coming Thursday, and this was like Monday, maybe Tuesday, I can't remember.
And the bank coming, what does that mean?
Excuse me, sorry. So the bank is going to come and take inventory of everything, and they're going to put a lock on the door. And once that happens, when you're filing bankruptcy, nothing can leave that building, or else I think it's a felony, if I'm not mistaken.
It's more or less theft.
Theft, yeah, essentially. Maybe not quite a felony, but I don't know. When you're messing with banks, like, might as well be a felony.
Everything in that room becomes the bank's on that day.
Everything.
It's a felony depending on how much money it's worth.
So and there was a lot of equipment. So I got a hold of Brandon, who is the general manager at Lee Summit, and Aiden, who's our front desk guy at Overland Park. And I was like, hey, I didn't even tell them what was going on. I was like, can you go to Arkansas with me for a day, about 24 hours, and we're going to get this equipment. We're going to come back. And they said yes. And at this point, I was like, I'll buy all your food. I'll buy your hotel. You know, can you just hook me up for a second? And they were all about it. And then my buddy Chad really saved me because he cleared his schedule for the next 48 hours to come and help me. So we left that day, that Wednesday at 10 a.m. We rented 2 trucks and an 18-foot trailer, drove down, and I told them, I was like, listen, do not wear anything body shop. I rolled all my windows down. Like, this is almost like a covert ops. Like, we're getting in and we're getting out. Because
Body shop's on your windows is what you're saying.
Body shop is on my windows because at this point, Nick Trigili is like telling people to basically come break into his stuff and take what they want. Very much like a mob mentality. And so I was like, and I was terrified to go down there. I was like, I don't know what we're going to run into. I don't know what's going on. There's like death threats going on at this point. So I'm like, we just need to get in and get out. So I
can't believe that he has fiance. I'm so sorry to interrupt this, but I'm like, his fiance called you to give you the forewarning? So
he was not with what they had going on. He was not available to talk at the moment.
Sure.
He was not in jail or anything like that. It was some, I don't want to get into his personal business. You know, he already has enough going on.
Sure. But bottom line is like there was a forewarning at least. You know, I mean, for
yes. you. And I was down there. I mean, this hit me because, you know, I was down there. I'd stayed on this guy's couch for like 2 weekends. You know, we talked equipment, we talked business. You know, the week prior I was down there and I basically was like a business mentor. I sat down with his gym manager because he owned a gym at the time, and I went over what I thought they could do better. You know, we kind of restructured his selling business and how they could do better. So it was really kind of a blindside to me. I was not expecting it. So, you know, we get down there, we load equipment from 4 p.m. to midnight. Like, because to get anything out of this warehouse, it was like, oh, you want this piece? Move these 15 pieces. Like, we've all played that game where you're trying to get the ball out of the maze and you have to move all the cars.
Tetris. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dude, it was brutal. So we get out and we have to go to one more warehouse. And then it's like, it's right around midnight, maybe a little later, and you just hear, where the fuck is this guy? So someone is out in this small town, like, looking for him at midnight. Like, it was that serious. And at this point, he's like, we got people back at the warehouse taking what they want. And I was like, dude, we gotta go. Because I still have 2 trucks at that warehouse. Like, we left 2 trucks and we took one to go get what we needed from this other warehouse. So we got back and there's like 5 people there. And they approach us. And luckily, it all went over well. But we got out of there. We stayed the night in a hotel and we drove back the next day. One of our trucks breaks down in Joplin. Like, this is a 26-foot truck with a lift gate. Like, we're stuck in Joplin for 3 hours. We almost don't make it back. We finally get back, I think, at like 9 o'clock at night. and we get my trailer unloaded and we get one truck unloaded, and the next one didn't get here for like 2 days. So we get all this equipment in, and then we start trying to put everything together. Well, our jungle gym is literally in like 100 pieces. Not one weight stack is put together, not one glide rod is in, not one pulley, not one bolt, like as bare as you can get. And then to make matters worse, it's a Flex Fitness jungle gym. They're not made anymore. We left in such a hurry that we left all the upholstery, and we couldn't go back and get it. So not only were we trying to piece this together, I don't know how much money I spent trying to get this put together, but then I had to find some guy who can make upholstery, and which is like really hard to find within Kansas City.
Sure.
Dude, it was like, there was a couple of times that I really didn't know like if we were going to make it. Like it was brutal. Our contractors that we hired at the time, like they took their time. So we didn't get inspection until like the day before we opened. So it was like, we didn't get to promote the way we wanted. Like,
I was going to say, did the rent just start ticking the day you opened?
We had 3 months, and then I had to pay. Luckily, our ownership of our building is amazing. They're really great to work with, and I called them, and I was just honest with them, and I told them what happened, because this whole thing that happened, we had to spend a lot of money out of pocket. Like, we had a little buffer built in, but we blew through that buffer 2 times. So I was like, listen, I don't have your money. Like, this is what happened. This is what I had to do, because he had our weights, but he had no barbells. He had no cardio equipment, dumbbell racks. You know what I mean? We were missing like a lot of
Key pieces.
really key pieces, and we had to get it.
Yeah.
And, you know, we had to spend the money that we had, and they were really generous, and we reworked our contract, and we were able to spread out our first month of rent in 12 equal payments of our second year. So they were really great to work with. But yeah, man, it's like a breath of fresh air now that we're open. But like, there was multiple times that I really didn't know if we were going to open. Like, we just kept going, and I knew eventually we'd get open, but I didn't know. Like, it was brutal. Yeah.
Well, it's just, there wasn't a clear path.
No,
you know
not
what I mean?
at all.
And like if you know, who's in charge of everything doesn't have a clear path, and, you know, the people that are obviously relying on you are like, what are we doing? You know?
Yeah.
And so it's just a really stressful place to be, because it's hard to turn off your brain when you have people that, you know, their way of eating is based on the decisions you're making.
For sure. And I mean, not only they're eating, but my family's eating.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And it's a lot, but it worked out, and I knew it would. But it just, at the time, it was like, you know, it's like Murphy's Law. Like, anything that could have went wrong. Like, it's to the point now I'm almost on first name basis with people at Ace. Like, they know exactly who I am, because I'm in there. I was in there almost every day buying different things.
There's a it's
Hardware.
it's kind of a magical time going from one location to 2 locations, because you really don't know what you don't know, right? Like, so when you don't understand what the cash flow is going to look like, you can try and forecast it, and you can get pretty close to it, but you really don't know until you go through the process. Yeah. And there's always hiccups on the way. Me and Jeff, when we opened our second location, we drained our bank account to 0. I mean, to like absolute 0, to where I was like, oh no, dude, I can't do orders this week because we got no money. You know, and it's you don't really know. Obviously, I got better at that over time after we continuously opened up locations. But in the first time you do it, it's such a learning curve, because you really don't know what you don't know. And then also you throw in, you know, this situation that you explained with the equipment. That's a tough one to overcome, man.
It's one of the hardest things I did. And, you know, my buddy, he's a very successful restaurant guy here in town, and he told me opening up my second location would be the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that's so funny.
We'll see. And I was like, dude, it's going to kill me. Like,
spreading out your employees,
your double rent, double everything, one income. And it's like, really the only thing that got us by was Blank Slate Fitness, which is my training company. You know, I train a lot of like physique athletes, hormone issues. Like, I kind of do a little bit of everything, gut health. All the extra money that Blank Slate was making was going to the gym.
Dumping straight into it.
Yeah, it was dumping straight into it. So here we are. You know, my wife, she's going to give birth next month. I mean, we're like 4 weeks out, and we're draining our accounts to 0. You know, it's like we're almost back in the same situation we had with our first kid, and we always said we wouldn't be there. Now, it's not like that. Like,
sure,
it's coming back, but for a second, like, that's almost what it was looking like, because we were just taking everything, and we were draining our accounts. And I think that's
the way to look at that, though, is like, think about how much more assets you have right now.
100%.
You own the equipment outright.
Yep.
So it's like
They can't take anything.
your bank account might
Yep.
be low, but if you think about, how much money that you have in equipment that's sitting in those gyms.
Oh, it's great. And I think that's why next time I think we will finance, because at this point I don't want to drain my accounts every couple of years. I'd rather just leverage my credit to make money, or leverage debt to make money.
Sure.
And not so much, just getting crazy debt, but it's like, if I have that money saved up already, and then I can just get a loan for it, I already know I have the money that I can pay it, then I can just have all this money up front that I don't have to stress about, instead of this time it was like, it strapped us for like 6 to 8 months.
And if you do like a line of credit, for example,
100%.
like, we have lines of credit for business, and it's like you can tap into those lines and obviously pay them back as like the gym starts cash flowing.
At a very much lower interest rate than like
and
a credit card or anything.
You can start, having solid shits again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're good now. I took one this morning. I felt a lot better. But
Let me tell you about this magic nutrient called fiber.
Yeah, my skin tone was probably as red as my shirt was for like 2 weeks till I got the equipment. It was rough.
Yeah, I was like, man, call me. I'm like, for the love of God, call me.
And no one knew what was going on but my wife, none of my employees. And then finally I told them what was going on, and they were like, "We're so sorry. Do you need anything?" And I was like, "No, I couldn't risk it getting out into the public that, hey, we're going to open in 6 weeks. Here we are pushing pre-signs, and we may not open."
Yeah.
Of course. Which, this happens to like, Orange Theories. You know what I mean? Like, this happens to like every gym, where it's like they're doing pre-sales, and like you can't control the contractors typically, right? Like sometimes gyms open a month later than they want to.
For sure. Yeah.
I want to say that happened to Foundation Olathe. I want to say
really?
For like a few weeks or something. I think they had to push back their dates, and they were never like hard on a date because they don't they want to mislead anybody. But I think they were originally hoping for April.
Okay. Yeah. It's hard. It's an awful feeling. I'm sure you guys know how it is when like your deadlines are determined by other people.
Oh my God.
Like when they're down to you, you're not even stressed because you'll get it done. But it's like when you're in the arms of someone else, it's like, dude, shoot me. Like, can I just do this myself, please?
Dude.
Two people that you shouldn't rely on is a commercial real estate agent and then also a contractor.
Yeah.
The two people that like when you need them most, you don't hear from them.
Man.
There's a guy working
it's
on
crazy.
my
Those
vehicle
industries, it's just like, I don't have to stick to any timeline and people are still going to hire me.
I'll let you know whenever I want to give you your, like, we try to get, we were looking at a space once to put in a store, and the person that owned it, the landlord, was a group out of New York, and we just wanted to know the cost per foot. Like, just give me the price.
That should be a very upfront.
You think it'd just be just be online or on the window, whatever.
Yeah.
We had 5 different calls, left 5 different messages with the secretary. I'm just wondering, does anybody want us to lease this space?
Yeah.
Because like I'm at 4 weeks in a row of just trying to figure out a cost per foot. And you're just like, man, it must be so nice to just be rolling in money.
Dude,
where you don't care at all about making any.
It's so frustrating when you're like, I'm trying to give you money.
Right.
Please
take my money
back. Take it. Yes.
I tell everybody, like, when you open a business, it's unbelievable to you how little urgency there is from anybody else
but you
when it comes to, and again, it's your problems in quotes, but you're trying to give them money.
Yeah.
And it's like, it doesn't matter who we call. It could be AT&T for internet, or it could be your contractor, or it could be the city trying to get a approval on gosh, what am I even thinking of? Like when you have to submit for permit,
Yeah.
One thing after another, you're just like, dude, does anybody care to take my money?
And that's, and that was my fault. And I'll take ownership for all that. I hired all these people. These were my decisions. So it's like, in the end, like, it really is down to me.
You didn't know what you didn't know.
I didn't know what I didn't know. But at the same time, it's like, we announced in March that we were going to open in June, because I was told before the job started, it would be 4 weeks, 5 weeks tops. Because like we only added 2 bathrooms and 2 offices. It's not like we went in and renovated the whole spot. Like, I went in and I ripped up all the flooring myself. I hauled it away myself. Like, the groundwork's done. I just need you to like finish it. And it's been 5 months, and we're just now getting like, there's still a couple things that need to be finished.
Sure.
That are going to get finished next week after our grand opening. So it's like, we made that announcement, and now I think that's just something we know now, that I'm not going to announce an opening date until we get very close on the next one. And I have like a concrete idea, because that was awful. That was like 2 of the worst weekends of my life.
Oh man. I mean, we've had the privilege of being on a couple other podcasts where we're the guests, and I always talk about going from 1 to 2 was the most stressful, hardest thing I've ever done in business, was going from 1 to 2.
Yeah.
2 to 3, much easier for whatever reason.
Yeah, I can't wait to get number 3.
3 to 4,
And we haven't
even
had the
easier.
grand opening. I'm already thinking about number 3.
Yeah. What's number 3 gonna be like, dude?
It's going to be close to the same. So I don't know if I'm going to do number 3 or move number 1 first. So number 1, we've kind of tapped out all of our space, and we're there for 8 more years. And I'm like, we're really struggling because we're going to have to cut off memberships probably within a couple months. So eventually I would like to be able to relocate that location within Overland Park. And
Does your landlord own other space that they would be easy to move you to?
I don't want to say easy, but I would like to think so. There's one space right next to us that's about 5 times what we are that they've been working on for a couple of years. I'm kind of hoping falls through the cracks. And I can get that because I would like to create kind of like honestly what you guys did here, like a body shop headquarters. And I can have office space and I can have my office that I can leave from home. And that way I'm not sharing an office with my managers. They can have their own offices and I can, have different conference room and things like that. Because eventually, like my vision for Body Shop is I want 8 to 10 locations in the KC Metro. And then eventually I think I would like to start franchising out to my employees, people who have been with me for a long time. They understand the culture. They understand what it's about. And they understand how it should be ran. So I would like to do something like that. But if we can't get that done first, I plan to go to Liberty next. I think I actually have a map printed out with stars on it. Of every city that I want to go to. So it's just a matter of filling it in. So I'm looking at Liberty because it's a growing area. There's not a ton of gyms up there. And then when you look at a map, it makes like a perfect triangle, so they're all about 20 minutes apart. So they're all close enough, but far enough that we'll pull totally different people from all those places. And then we can kind of start filling in from there.
Totally.
Nice.
Well, dude, that's exciting, man. That's all I can say is I love the vision. I love that you have a growth mindset. You're going to be told time and time again that you can't do it. So I love that you're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to tell you what their opinions are about this.
I love it.
Yeah.
It still happens. I mean, all the stuff that's been said through the years, and I like it. I think we all have a dark side that we operate out of, and, we have to hone in on it and tap into it. But at the same time, I think that's what reading did is it really helped me kind of take my blinders off because, I had big dreams, but I felt like I still had blinders on because of even though I was operating out of the darkness, it's like you still had like blinders on a little bit, and then you were to take those off, and I started having like really vivid dreams about like what my future life was going to be like, and I think that's just when it really started taking off.
Let's talk about these blinders, man. I think growth, personally, professionally, etc. You become more self-aware. What's an example of some of these blinders that you've had?
I really thought I limited myself. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, I only want maybe 2. And then I was like, oh, that'll be a great life. You know what I mean? And it's like, cause even though I don't want to say it, I'm not pioneering, but like I'm really moving forward. I've only been in Kansas City about 8 years. And, in that short amount of time, we've gone from just working at a box gym to working at a studio to opening up I guess you could call it a studio, almost the size of one. And then now here we are a couple of years later with our second gym. So you have these dreams, but I feel like you still almost limit yourself because even though you're operating on that dark side and you're going to prove people wrong, I think to a certain extent you still only go so far because you somewhat let that seep in. Does that make sense?
Sure. I think a phrase that I had to really tell myself, and this just to relate, would just be contentment over complacency.
Yes.
And it's so difficult if you're somebody who's an achiever to feel like you're still pushing forward and feeling like you're achieving or
sure.
Advancing in life, but also taking time to be at peace and smell the roses and enjoy your life a little bit. And so, man, it's so hard to sit still and be like, man, isn't this nice? Because as soon as you say it out loud, it feels weird. You're like, I don't even like this. This is terrible.
Yeah. And then, you're there. And then like, I think we all get to a point where eventually once you start succeeding a little bit, you're going to have people that talk shit about you.
Of course.
And that stuff used to like, it bothered me on a deep level. Like,
sure.
I act like it didn't bother me, but sometimes it did. And now I feel like I'm to a point to where it really doesn't.
I'm happy to hear that, man.
I think I've just gotten to a point to where it's like, I'm focused on what I'm doing and I'm only getting the criticism because of what we're achieving.
Sure.
And it's not that we're better than anyone else, but we're just focusing on what we can do the best we can do it. And that's all that matters, from whether it's like being a business owner or, even right now, it's just being a husband and a father. Like, right now those are my top 3. Like I haven't given up on bodybuilding, but I've come to realize that like bodybuilding is kind of in my rearview mirror, and that's not the most important thing in my life anymore. So I think it's being realistic with yourself and understanding what you can achieve. And then once you can do that, I really think you start to have those visions. You know what I mean? I've gotten really into, what do you want to call it? Not visioning, but manifesting. There we go. And I start thinking about it all the time of what I want my family's future to look like and my future. And, I start having these really crazy dreams, and it's just so detailed. And it's like, you just wake up energized, and it's just great, man. It's hard to explain, but
I'm with you. I mean, like, I know I don't want to speak for Kyle on this, but like him and I are very detail oriented when it comes to what we want for the future of our staff and for what our company to look like and so forth. But when it comes to, this dark side that you're operating out of, where do you feel like that's derived from?
I think it's like my entire childhood, I was made fun of. I was either overweight or, not a lot. I don't even know if you guys know this, but with my skin disorder, like my teeth never came in properly. Okay, so to this day, I wear a full set of dentures. So like very self-conscious about that. And up until like a year or 2 ago, I would not let anyone know that because it really bothered me to my core. I just don't give a shit anymore. You know what I mean? And it's like, so growing up, I would have like, oh God, maybe 15 to 20 teeth. So it's like when I go to eat food, I chew like a grandpa, and then I'm overweight and chubby, and then you get titty twisters, and it's like, oh, you want to get into bodybuilding? Like, you look like shit. You're never going to do anything. And then I finally get on stage, and it's like, oh, well, you still look like shit. Okay, well, I'm going to keep training. Oh, you want to be a trainer? You just think you know everything. You don't know shit. Oh, you actually think you're going to attempt to open a gym? Yeah, good luck. And it's like, you're just always met with these roadblocks. And, it even happens now. You still hear people say things, and it used to bother me, and now it really doesn't anymore. Like, when I hear that, I compartmentalize it because I like to use it for fuel. But only because like I want to piss those people off even more with success. You know what I mean? It's like, man, the best revenge is just continue to being successful. And we've had these talks, and like some instances that happened the last couple of years, and it's like, I still like to use that as fuel and not so much rub it in people's faces, but how can we be omnipresent within Kansas City? So like, even if someone doesn't like you guys or me, they can't go anywhere within Kansas City without seeing something that we're attached to.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Whether that be supplements, like they may be at Walmart, but dude, I remember last time I went to Walmart, didn't see an S2 shirt. You know what I mean? It's like, you can go literally anywhere. Like I have people going to Target, and they're sending me pictures of people in body shop gear. And I'm like, oh, did you say hi? No, I know who that was. I just saw the shirt, so I sent you a picture. So it's like, I think it's really important to operate off that, but not let it drag you down. And I think a lot of people let it drag you down, and that's where the blinders come on, because they don't believe in what they can do, because they just take everyone else's words for their worth.
I'm with you. So you got to check on your intent there too. I mean, you're in a spot where at the time it used to be about proving people wrong, but I think that you know who you are now, and I think you know your worth, and I think your mission has changed.
For sure, yeah.
And so, with that ability to understand, like, it's no longer about proving those people wrong because you already have. Now it's like you get to actually change that intent to where that, you still use their fuel for fire, et cetera, but now you get to make, other people that work for you's lives a lot better. You get to actually put more effort into creating a better atmosphere for your members and so forth, and not use any more of that energy towards anything else.
Yeah. It's literally gone from like, I'm going to prove you wrong, to how many people's lives can I affect in a positive way? Every year at the end of the year when we do our taxes, and, we see how much money we paid out to our employees, like I almost get a little like emotional, because it makes me feel good that we're able to help people provide for their family. How many, you all right? Oh man, not that watch.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah. How many kids that come to the gym can we help set up a positive future for, whether it be relationship advice, health advice, just life advice, and or entrepreneurship, or what they want to do. How many people can we help lose weight, change their lives, get off the couch? It's like, it's literally gone from how many people can I prove wrong to how many people can I really have a positive impact on. And I think that's another reason why I want us to be so successful, is because the financial benefits are great, but with more financial benefits, I can help even more people. Mm-hmm. Like it's just more easier. There we go. It's easier to give back if you have more. And that's really what I want to do.
Yeah, you
Something
shouldn't.
there.
You should never lose your competitive, edge. But that competitive edge for it should come from a place of like I think that we do things the best possible way. If I think we do things the best possible way, of course I'm going to be confident in what we're doing.
sure.
And of course I'm going to hope that people choose us over other places. But it's not out of like negativity.
Yeah.
It's just purely.
It's not rooted in trying to be better than others. It's trying to be the best at what you do and not trying to one up anybody else.
No, I think
That's the mindset we try and have.
I think every gym is in a class of their own. Not one gym is like another gym. You know what I mean? Whether it be Flex, Foundation, like these are great gyms. I've been to all these gyms and I like them. I was a member at both at one point. Like they're fantastic gyms, but it's like this is just what we do, and this is what I want us to focus on. And it's like I feel like so many people focus on everyone else's grass that their grass starts to die.
Of course.
So it's like
Yeah.
we need to worry about our grass because we're not perfect. Like we're always improving, and there's things that we can always get better at. But it's like this is what we do. And this is what we're going to continue to do, and this is how we can set ourselves apart within a gym atmosphere where, I mean, there's a lot of gyms around Kansas City, so what are you doing to set yourself apart? And that's what we need to focus on.
You're in a spot, dude, where there's so many people you're living the dream for so many guys who absolutely love to train. They love to lift. They love to train other people, but they want to open their own gym. About half of the people that we're on a first interview basis with at Supplement Superstores, we ask them what their long-time goal is. At least half of them say they want to open a gym.
Yeah.
I swear.
I probably hear it once a week.
Yeah. So my
Yeah.
point is, what kind of advice could you give somebody who's looking to open a gym in the sense of what they probably don't think about?
One, don't quit your day job, because if you truly want your gym to make it, I feel like you need to open the gym and already have a source of income that's paying your bills. And I think that's what allowed us to grow quickly, was that when we opened Body Shop's doors, our bills were already paid by Blank Slate Fitness. So our rent kind of already fit within our budget before we added anything else. So it was kind of easy to do.
Sure.
And to this day, I just started getting a check from Body Shop in January, and it's less than what my managers make. Like, it's not a lot. So I think it's important that you can have something to pay your bills, because if you're looking to open your gym and pay your bills and make a living, it's not going to happen for probably at least a year or two. Secondly is that, I thought I was just going to hang out and work out. I was like, oh, this is going to be chill. I'm going to take out my friends all day, work out. I hardly have time to work out. It's like I really have to carve out time in my day. There is so much behind the scenes, whether it be paperwork, clerical work, tax issues, payroll issues. You're dealing with people sneaking into the gym, so you got to address that. We're out of toilet paper. You know what I mean? It's like we just got to a point where we got some of these automated to where the manager's taking care of them. But at first, it's like there's so much behind the scenes, and you think you're just going to open a gym, and it's like, oh, there's no upkeep. The equipment runs. We're just going to get memberships, and we're going to crank because we have no expenses. Well, toilet paper and paper towels, they add up real quick. And hand soap. You would not believe the amount of hand soap a gym goes through.
We would understand, because our employees go through it.
Do they?
Bit. The amount that we pay in supplies is absurd.
It is, and those are just
Pens
things
and
that,
paper, just crazy,
man,
crazy
it's
shit.
things you just wouldn't think
little
about.
Ziploc baggies.
Dude, rubber bands, not rubber bands, but like the workout bands. I feel like I'm buying them every other month. It's just crazy.
Should have got him a Jack LaLanne one.
Could have,
Yeah,
girls got to put it around their knees to get the booty going.
We got to use the original resistance band.
Really?
Yeah, it was. They brought it to our podcast. So
Oh, that's amazing. But
the first ever patented one. But anyway, sorry, you going.
Yeah, I think it's just having something that can pay your bills to begin with, so your expectations aren't too high if you're going to make too much money, because it does take time. I think secondly, what really helps is I tell everyone is to build a name for yourself, because if you just go to open a gym, you're not going to have the marketing dollars that Genesis has. You're not going to have the manpower that someone who has 50 to 70 gyms has. You're really going to be doing a lot of yourself. And when we first opened, we relied heavily on people who knew me. These people that would come in, they would do day passes, they would tell their friends. Like, our first 30 members were all people that I knew from life, and they just signed up because they knew that I liked equipment and they believed in what it was going to be. Fast forward, like half the people that sign up now, I mean, they don't have no clue who I am. And I think it's awesome.
Right.
But it's like, it helps to build a name for yourself first, because then when you say that you're going to open something, I feel like it holds a little more merit and there's a little more trust behind it. You know, something that's brand new, it's hard to get behind because you're the first one. You know, I'm sure the first McDonald's that opened, it was like, what is this?
Yeah, people are slow to adopt,
Yeah,
right? You have early adopters.
Yeah, I'll try it. That wasn't bad. Okay, I'll go back one more time. And you're like, okay, this is pretty good. I'll be a regular here. Okay, but now McDonald's opens every month on a different corner, and everyone automatically knows what it is.
Sure.
So it's like every time we open a body shop, we're going to have that much more behind it because it'll be more of a trusted brand, and people will come in. I'm sure like when you guys opened OP or and then you went to Shawnee, it probably took some time to build that versus now it's
Still
like
here. We're here at Ward Parkway.
Yeah, now when you open Ward Parkway, it's like you probably had a ton of people out here just your first day because they were just excited to see it.
You'd be surprised, man.
Really?
All I would say is like we like to think that's the case. It's always a little easier and a little easier and a little easier when you're in the same market.
For sure.
But if you're not within 20 minutes of where you're opening, I'm sure you noticed this in Lee Summit. There's been like a huge, right off the bat, there was a handful, low-hanging fruit, and now it's one at a time.
Yep.
One handshake at a time, one conversation at a time, and it's never going to change. And
but I love it.
Well, of course, yeah. I mean, dude, because you've lived it, right? You're not somebody who took out a huge loan and is counting on a big pop, and you're just crossing your fingers and hoping. Like, you're not afraid of the grind.
Yeah.
You've already been through it. You know what I'm saying? And so you know that it's going to take one conversation at a time.
For sure.
And that is the difference of like, and if you guys, this is kind of a deep cut here, but when it comes to business, everybody's searching and seeking, trying to eliminate having to have those conversations. Most entrepreneurs are spending their time, how do I automate this? How do I systematize this? How do I pass this up? Because I don't want to have to do this shit one at a time.
Yep.
And you just sit there, grin, ear to ear, because you're like, thanks, I'll take them all. One at a time.
Take pride in the inefficiencies.
For sure. I think Brandon, our general manager at Lee Summit, I remember when we first opened, I was like, what's your biggest concern? And he was like, man, it's like, you were at OP every day and you shook hands every day and you said hi every day. And that's something that sets us apart, is that we truly try to say hi by your name when you walk in. We try to say bye by your name when you leave. And we care. If you haven't been into the gym in like a month and we know you're a regular, we'll message you. Like, dude, are you alive? Like, are you seriously okay? Because we actually do care, but it's like, I can't be in everywhere at once. So that's where, it was kind of worrisome to get Lee Summit open because I couldn't be there every day. And then, I can't be at OP every day.
But who's your person that is there saying hi to every single person?
Yeah, and that's Brandon and that's Holly. And it's
Got
like
it.
they know how important that is that we continue to build that culture of like bringing people into this family-like atmosphere and greeting them by name. That's just so important to me.
That's awesome. Well, that's something that, it's something that definitely is important to us here in our company as well, just to genuinely build relationships with people, care all the way. Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's what carries over. I mean, you said it before, and like, where everything's getting automated, like people still, they want that person to person contact.
Where else did they get it?
Yeah.
Right. You feel like a number everywhere you go,
Yep.
and it's like, man, it'd be nice if somebody actually like valued my money that I gave them, and they're giving you what, $50 a month.
Yep.
And it's like, people in here care that I know my name. They're going to message me to see where I'm at, how I'm doing.
Yeah.
There's people that are, paying thousands of dollars for a country club and no one knows their name.
Yeah.
No one
I mean,
cares.
I go to First Watch almost every Saturday, and it's like, yeah, I like the food, but you know what I love is that I go in there, the manager knows me, he knows my family, almost all the servers know my order, and it just feels good.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It feels good to come in and be greeted.
It's nice when people appreciate you being a regular customer.
Yeah,
for sure.
for sure.
And you didn't have to earn it with 4 visits. They gave you that kind of feeling in the first time.
Yeah.
That
was the first time I met you. You know what I'm saying?
What happened? I don't know.
Well, we walked in and you started quizzing me on supplements, and I had no idea who you were. I think you were still working, and then I was like, "Oh, I love Allmax," and you're like, "I'll hook you up with them," and I was like, "Okay, yeah." And the next thing you know, I have someone from Allmax calling me, and I'm like, "Who is this guy?" You know what I mean? Because I still didn't know who you were. You're like, you're just some guy who sold supplements.
Well, I vetted you by talking to somebody else, and I said, "Who's the hardest worker in that gym?" And they said you. And I told Kyle, I was like, we got to go get this guy.
Yeah.
And we met at the back of the store, and I was like, obviously very clear with what I was expecting and what I was wanting for our company and how I wanted you to play a role in that. And I was like, I'm glad to hear you like Allmax. But like, you knew a lot about supplements, and that was the part that was really intriguing to me. It was that you had just left World Gym, and so had I. And I was like, this guy has no idea who I am, but I know everything about him to this point. Like, I've already talked to 5 people about him.
Yeah.
And so I felt really good about the conversation. You know what I mean? I felt really good about offering you that opportunity. And to be clear, you're the only person to this day that we've given that opportunity to.
Yeah, I actually
in our entire history
I
of
tell people
S2KC.
that, and I take pride in that. I'll be like, yeah, I work really closely with S2. They're like, oh, okay. I was like, no, you don't understand. I'm the only person to ever be brought in on a team meeting.
Yeah.
It does feel good, and I really appreciate that. And it's still a great relationship to this day. It's one I cherish, and we're gonna be out at your barbecue next year, and it's I think this will be the third one we've done
Next week.
Yeah. Did I say next year?
Yeah.
Holy
All
shit.
good. Next week, everybody.
We'll probably have one next year.
July
too.
22nd, everybody.
Yeah, it's just nice. I used to come in and like be nervous, and now it's nice when I walk in. It's just I can always it's hugs.
Yeah.
It's how are you been? It's like that truly caring feeling. You know what I mean? If I need something, it's like that's more than supplements. It's more than my clients being taken care of. It's like I know I can call anyone. I think I just met you today, but I probably still count on you. You know what I mean? But I've called Luke for help before. I've
Thatch
called
is
you
good
guys
for a hug.
Yeah.
Dude,
I love hugs.
I gotta switch this up on you and ask you: have you watched Netflix's QB1 yet?
Is it out?
Just quarterback.
Quarterback, whatever it is.
Is it out?
Yeah,
I thought it wasn't out for
Released yesterday.
I didn't think it was out for another week. I'm gonna watch it.
Made me relive the worst part of last season, which was losing to the Colts.
Oh man, that was probably that was
Caleb
definitely-
Blankenship, the only Colts fan in all of Kansas City.
No, I've
Even
seen a couple.
his
license
wife doesn't
plates.
care. His son doesn't
She
care.
does care.
No
She has a
one
Quiddy Pay
cares.
jersey.
They're both Chiefs fans secretly.
They're gonna
Maximus
have
cares.
4 wins next year.
No, listen to me.
The AFC South is garbage. They'll have more than that.
So the week of the Super Bowl, his elementary school did something with Chiefs like every day. And one was Andy Reid Day. So all the teachers dressed up as Andy Reid. They all had mustaches and headpieces.
headset.
And we drop them off, and this teacher opens up. And she said, oh, go Chiefs. He said, no, go blue team. Because I had him in a Darius Leonard jersey. I'm like, that's right.
That's right, dude.
Hey, Darius Leonard, I mean, gosh, he needs to get off the Colts immediately.
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
so
my
good.
Well, hopefully he plays this year.
What?
Yeah, he's missed like a season and a half.
Did he tear an ACL or something?
No, he had a what was it, a nerve issue in his back, and he's had like 2 surgeries, and he came back last year, and
He was rookie of the year.
Yeah, he felt like he was playing with a dead leg, so he had to have another surgery, and then he got a concussion the one game he played. So they don't know if he's going to be back yet for this year or not. He signed this mega contract, like almost $20 million a year, and he has not really played at all.
It's scary, man. He's gifted dude.
It is, because honestly, those nerves almost are worse than muscle tears.
Sure.
You can't. I mean, even if you cut it out, it's like you still can't feel your leg.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You going to make it to an Indianapolis game this year?
Yeah, we're going to the Buccaneers game. So I try to go home.
So the tickets are free.
I haven't bought tickets
I'm
yet.
just laughing because the Bucs are going to be terrible this year.
Yeah, I hope they're
Anthony
cheap.
Richardson versus Baker Mayfield.
It'd be nice if they're cheap. And Lucas Oil's an expensive stadium.
Really?
Dude, I sat lower level last year for the Steelers game, and I paid like $230 a ticket.
Well, Steelers though has got to be one of the biggest games.
It was.
They traveled
It
well.
was a Monday night game, and they actually had more fans than the Colts fans.
I don't doubt it. I've been a Rams fan before. I've been through it.
So the year before,
More-
I went
more
to the
terrible
Rams. I went
talent
to the
you've ever
Rams
seen.
game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so we try to go back every year. I always try to go back and visit my family around the fall time, and it just seems to work out that the weekend after that Thanksgiving, there's always usually a home game. So we'll go back. We'll go to visit my family, then a game, or I think this year we're going to go to the game and then go visit my family. So
Perfect.
especially now that we're going to have a little girl. She'll be just a couple months old. My grandmother, she's not getting any younger. My grandpa lives out there, so it's like we try to go back and visit once a year. Now that we can, we didn't go for like 5 years because honestly, it's like even to drive, we didn't even have the gas money.
Of course.
So now that we're able to, we like to try to go back.
That's awesome, man. Well, if you say to yourself, like, hey, I value family eventually when you have the means to do it, time to start seeing them,
Man, I think family is just everything. Like, you guys know me. Like my wife and my son are like literally my life. And sometimes I definitely do get out of balance, and it's up to my wife to kind of pull me back. But when it comes with bodybuilding, it's like I try to tell everyone, it's like whatever we're doing, whether this is business, this is bodybuilding, it doesn't last forever. And so it's not worth ruining the relationships at home to place one spot higher or open that one more gym or whatever it may be. It's like this is our foundation, and this is what gives us that support at home. And if we're pissing them off constantly, then it's just going to go into the rest of your life.
Right.
Like if I can keep my wife and my kid happy, and like I feel like they're very spoiled with their time. My wife will always tell you that she doesn't get to see me enough, or my son doesn't get to see me enough. But I feel like I do have a pretty good balance. But it just never feels like enough. I mean,
Totally.
You know, now you got like 12 kids now.
I got 3.
3.
They're fucking all crazy.
You know,
Kyle's in the weeds right now.
I'm
dog.
in the weeds.
3 of them
right
under
now.
5. 3 of them 5 and under.
oh my god. Nope, I'm not doing it. You know, what's
I think you would
Hannah's little
recommend
girl's
that too.
name?
Addie.
Addie. You know, you're around Addie all the time. It's just once this comes in your life, it's just a totally different dynamic. And when you try to talk to people who don't have kids, they just don't understand. It's just, and you only get this one time. You know, my son just turned 6. That's the only time he's ever going to turn 6. You know, what if he had his football camp yesterday? I was there for the entire thing. There were kids crying because they wanted their parents to be there. And it's like, I never want to be that parent that my kid cries because I'm not there. I need to be present as much as possible. And that's the same for my wife. It's like, I need to give them more than what I'm giving my businesses, because at the end of the day, like, they're the ones supporting you.
Who's going to be there when you die?
Yeah, 100%.
It ain't going to be a judge at a bodybuilding show.
No, no.
There's a
I
quote.
told real quick on the family thing, because we were just talking about this with one of our DMs, Bob, who is kidless versus everybody else in our manager room that has kids. And he was like, you guys make having kids sound so fun. And he said it in a sarcastic way. And I was like, having kids is like this. It's like my daughter coming and getting in my bed last night till 11 a.m. She woke up on her way down, her sister and her brother. And so I was up till 12:30 trying to get them all back to sleep. And I woke up just absolutely still mad about the situation that happened last night. And then this morning, me and Kim just texted pictures back and forth of them to each other all morning.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's such a dichotomy of like, difficult shit, but it like is all totally worth it. And when you're not with them, you're like, dude, I wish I was with them.
I have never had something
It's kind of crazy.
I've wanted to like Spartan kick in the face.
Yeah.
Like, and there's been a few times where like,
But you also love them more than
oh
anything
my
in this
God.
world.
And I want to kick him harder because I love him so much. You know what I mean? It's like, I remember one time we were walking to school and he was crying the whole way and he was just pissing me off. And I was like, walk. I don't wanna. And I like stuck my foot out and, you know, you like push him with your foot, but I like pushed him too hard and he like almost fell down. And Tessie was like, stop it. And I was like, I'm gonna kick him straight down if he doesn't get up. And then he went to school, and like an hour later, I was like, oh, man, I miss Max. I think he's having a good day. Like, it's just it's so frustrating.
It's hard to explain that feeling though.
It's like those Sour Patch Kids. It's like
It is
the commercials. It's amazing though. There really is nothing as challenging or rewarding as a kid.
Yeah.
And you know, I think we're about to have another baby. We're having a little girl, which is amazing because we've had 2 miscarriages. You know, it's been a long road, but it's like I'm not ready. Like we're excited and we're ready, but like even with how close yours are, I think you almost forget how hard the sleep deprivation can be,
Bro.
You know what I mean? It's really what it's like.
I don't forget. It's bad. But that little girl's gonna have you wrapped around her finger, man. Girls are
Sure he does.
In my experience, girls are like a lot more chill than I ever expected. With Sully is out of control.
Yeah.
Just out of control 24/7. And I used to think my girls were crazy, but I was wrong. So hopefully you got a little bit tamer this time around.
She's crazy in there, bro. Have you met her mother? She is Latina and she got an attitude. And I swear to God, this baby's already got the attitude. Like I went to kiss her the other day and she kicked me in the face. Yeah. Like what is it? And every time Tatiana gets mad, she gets mad. And you can see it like moving in the stomach, and it's like I don't even want to deal with this. I'm gonna have 2 of these in my house.
That's gonna be incredible, man. I'm psyched for you. Honestly, I'm so pumped for you.
Thank you. I'm pumped myself.
We got a badass grand opening tomorrow.
Yep.
Talk to our people, tell us exactly what to expect, and try to do it in a really articulate manner because it's going to be clipped up and put on Instagram as a separate clip.
Man,
don't fuck it up.
Yeah, I probably will because I'm not even sure I know what articulate means. We'll see.
What should the people expect from grand opening tomorrow?
Well, it's going to be from 10 to 2. We are going to have 10 local vendors out there. 10. We are going to have it packed to the gills. I expect anywhere from probably 500 to 1,000 people throughout the entire day. We're going to have bench your body weight contest. We're going to have most burpees in 30 seconds contest. We're raffling off a free 1 year. It is going to be a great time to come out, meet and greet, try out the equipment, free open gym, huge sign-up specials. We're talking no sign-up fee and half off your first month, and those are on 1 and 2 year contracts. And we're just going to pack it out and try to just have one big party.
I love it, man.
We're gonna have free coffee out there, courtesy of Big Biscuit. I'm sure we'll have John from Yep out there. He'll be passing on all of his smelling salts. You guys will be there taking care of pre and post. First Form will be there. I'm hoping they bring their giant tank. I love that thing. And we're just going to party and hang out and try to meet as many people as possible.
Very cool. Jeff's going to win the burpee contest. Can't wait to see his effort.
I'm down. I've done 100 burpees before in one sitting. Timed it and sent it to Kyle.
I don't know if that's the right way to say that in one sitting. It's kind of one laying down and getting back up.
I meant like in terms of Kyle doubts me, and so I decided to do these things for him and then video him and send them to him.
How long did it take?
It doesn't do anything for me because he just keeps giving me shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, you should do it every day now.
I was like, I think this was only 86. A couple of those you
I
didn't
did
clear
100
your
in like
hips.
7.5 minutes or something.
You remember we were
Dude, that's
talking about
impressive.
clearing the hips.
I thought you were going to say
it
like
was
15 minutes because I don't know if I could do that.
Say the stat again.
100 in like 7.5 minutes.
Oh, that's possible.
I'll go back to the video. I mean, it's still there. I don't delete it.
I think we just recreate it Saturday.
Let's do it.
Easy. By the end of it, I wasn't getting up with like pulling the legs through because of how bad my hips
Hey,
were.
here's
I
a
like
good,
got up on like one leg and then stood up.
Oh,
you know?
God.
here's a question. Could you or Luke do 100 burpees quicker? God, what
Dude,
a good
This is easy. Last time me and Luke hit a fitness off,
Luke
I
thinks.
crushed Luke
Fitness
in the
You
Rogue
think you could
bike
beat him?
Oh,
for like
yeah.
first to like 20 calories or something. It wasn't even close. I don't even think Luke tried.
But that's a power thing. You're obviously stronger than Luke. Look
Yeah.
at him. You know, there's burpees.
Yeah, because I'll hit like 15 calories in one 10-second
Hey
sprint.
Kyle, do you teach your kids to put others down to make themselves feel better?
Oh my gosh, we can't joke. We can't joke, Jeff. Is this not a funny podcast? We can't joke about things. I didn't know.
I thought that was part of parenting.
Listen to you right now, man. Just man.
Hey, how about you be serious?
How many times do you need to put people down to make yourself feel better?
Oh,
do you feel
as
like a big?
many as it takes.
You're a big man,
yeah.
huh? You feel cool?
Yeah.
You know
I'm
those
gonna
CrossFitters.
fucking kill you.
Those CrossFitters, they got to make themselves
Make
feel
sure
better.
to not edit that out.
Yeah.
All right, sweet.
Talking about killing Jeff.
Well, that's a good place to stop this podcast.
On
Jeff
the
is
murder.
taking this off the rails.
That's a good way to end it. It was definitely me that took it off the rails.
Hey, we still have to do our Taco Bell draft.
Man, talk about an all-time great thing that we've never done that I just would love to do. And the volcano menu is back. Psyched about the lava
What's a-
taco. Whatever. Volcano taco.
What is that?
It was like spicy ass sauce.
Oh, God.
I'm a fan of spicy shit.
Wow, volcano butt.
Yeah, they have a lava sauce or whatever, volcano taco. It was like from 2008.
Sounds awful.
Is at my peak Taco Bell use. Like 2 years into college, it was like the only thing within walking distance of her, and they had red shells with like lava sauce.
Oh,
And I just remember that people have been sending it to me for the last like 2 weeks that they're back.
It's like the McRib. You just
There
gotta
you
go
go.
get it.
Hey man, if it's spicy, I'm in.
When's the last time
Hot
you
sauce
had
fanatic.
McDonald's?
Did your high
Truly a
school
long-ass
serve you
time.
McRibs, like knockoff McRibs?
Oh,
like
yeah.
we did
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
in high school.
I used to think like that the McRib wasn't special because I saw them more at school than I would. And
Yeah.
you know, I never got that at McDonald's. I was like, this is just that weird
I was always like, why do they put
mystery meat.
onions on it?
You know, is-
like at school, no onions.
Isn't it
But
fr-
McDonald's onions?
Well, kids don't like onions.
Yeah.
Most kids. Isn't it frustrating though? My wife and I were talking about this, how in schools, everyone gets fed the same thing. So whether you're a first grader, you get 5 chicken nuggets. If you're an 8th grader, you get 5 chicken nuggets.
This is actually blowing my mind. I've never even thought about this, but that is true.
My lunch has completely changed in 6th grade. So 5th through 1st, it was, and you could get second lunch, and I would get second lunch every day.
Oh, of course.
Not surprising to anybody around here, but you would have like a little ticket that you
The
would
Taco
get.
Bell guy gets second lunch?
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, dude, whatever.
Did not
guy.
see that coming.
But yeah, second lunch, and then you couldn't get a third lunch, which was frustrating at times
I bet,
because you
man.
get like 3
You'd have
French
to-
toast sticks.
You'd have to be in good with the lunch lady to get the third lunch.
You know, at Max's school, they have a vegetable and fruit like area, and you can get as much as you want. Like they can come back as many times as they want for that now. Where
amazing.
was that? I didn't see one fruit when I was a kid.
I had a carton of milk, square pizza,
Yes.
terrible pear and grape mixed fruit.
Oh, but it was
Little
still
section.
good.
Sliced up pears.
We also had the Mexican pizza. Did you guys have that? Mexican pizza was.
I think
pretty
that was a
bomb.
rare.
That sounds kind of racist.
It was a rare occasion.
Oh,
but
I guess you can't probably call it that
Yeah.
anymore. But that's what they called it back then.
A Latin American
A
pizza?
yeah, I think it was a Latino X pizza. I'm not
Latino.
sure.
I don't even know, man. But I'm telling you right now, the square pizza was awesome.
Oh, well.
Bring it back.
Dude, pizza and chicken
Tony's?
fingers, even if they're shitty, they're still good.
Totino's party pizza. Is that what you're going with?
I don't know, but I do know that Kansas is known for the crunchy munchy chili cinnamon roll combo.
I did not have that until I came to Kansas, and I thought it was disgusting until I tried it, and
it's money.
It was real good.
Dude.
Crunchy, munchy cinnamon roll.
You've never dipped your cinnamon roll in your chili?
Chili, dude. Come on, that is straight.
Dude, you lived here way longer than me.
Where do you get chili and cinnamon rolls at the same time?
I don't know where you get them here, but you make them at. Yeah, they serve it in schools.
They serve it in schools.
You make it at home.
You get cinnamon rolls and chili in school?
Yeah,
correct.
Why?
It's crunchy, munchy
It's
chili
delicious.
Day, dude.
It's spicy, meaty, sweet.
Let's have a draft pick right now because I
The,
think Austin
the
Borders.
cinnamon kind of goes well with the chili, kind of like a chili powder. Almost
Did you
in a
go
way.
eat with Max at school and got to try this?
No, I had this at my mother-in-law's house. It was like her husband's family did it. I guess father-in-law. But
I'm so like I feel like you guys are punking me right now.
No, it's a real thing.
Let's
Here's
try
the
to
thing.
get Jeff to eat cinnamon rolls and chili at the same time.
It's
Let's just see if we
delicious.
can get this fat shit to do it.
It's
That's what you guys
it's
sound
because he
like.
told you he was going to kill you, and then he brought us cinnamon rolls and chili.
And when I was like a senior in high school or maybe a junior, they started replacing the cinnamon rolls with bubble bread. And I
Popular
said,
origin story for having cinnamon rolls with your chili. This comes
Yes.
from loggers' breakfast. Logging camps would take yesterday's leftovers and make chili and dump it over a cinnamon roll for high calories.
I believe it's high calorie.
I love that. That's what they're like. You know, we should give first graders. You know what
Really?
loggers used to.
How do we spike their blood sugar and make?
Is it a Kansas thing?
You know, it really is they give them stuff like that, and it spikes their blood sugar, and they get all hyper, and then they say that they have ADHD when really they're just on a sugar high, and then they crash and they're tired, and then they try
Look
to
at this. The Wichita Eagles,
put 'em
the
on
first
drugs.
article, Kyle. That's where Kyle grew up.
That's where I grew up.
We had square pizza. I would tell you, like, if you had a first overall draft pick, so we did barbecue the first time you were on the podcast. Let's come up with the second question. Here it is. You get one draft pick for your school lunch items. What do you pick number one? It can be like I'll go first as an example, the Bosco stick.
I was gonna bring that up,
Does everybody in here know what Bosco sticks are?
dude.
Luke?
It's
Bosco sticks.
Imagine like a mozzarella stick, like a
breadstick, but it's like a good breadstick.
Yes,
Garlic,
yes.
Parmesan, basically crazy bread from
They give
Little
it to you with
Caesars
the,
Oh
the
my
meat
God, it's so
sauce.
good.
with the mozzarella cheese in them.
So,
Dude,
true
I would
story.
get 2 bags.
I hardly had teeth when I was a kid, and I was eating one of these, and I couldn't really chew my food very well, and
God's gift.
I almost died. I started choking on that piece of cheese.
Oh no!
2 of those bad boys in a paper sack rolled up
Oh, it's so good.
with a marinara.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's not to love? Go ahead, Kyle. What's your go-to? Spicy chicken Thursday.
You know what? My high school had very good chicken sandwiches. Chicken sandwich day was always a good day. I think I'd go with a chicken sandwich.
Fried breast, right?
Fried breast, probably coming straight out of, it was definitely frozen and dropped in a fryer.
So I'll go middle school because my high school, I went to high school in Florida, and they would bring in like Papa John's and Chick-fil-A every day. And then you still had like the option
Baller.
for the school lunch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, yeah, it was $5 for a chicken sandwich. So, my fat ass would eat one chicken sandwich or 2 slices of pizza every day. I would have to go with the square pizza, but even though I'm fat, it's like I love salads. Like we had a salad bar every day in middle school, and I would just crush it. I would put my entree in the tiniest one and then fill up like 3 squares with my salad.
It was all. Oh, there's a square pizza.
Ah, that's good. Yeah, that's good
Yes.
stuff.
That's see, like, and we would have trays. Honest to God, that just they wouldn't fill them all up. Like we would just have
No.
2 things filled. It would be the pizza, the carton of milk, and you would just get like a little fruit cup.
Dude, I would almost bet money that Restaurant Depot sells those.
You know what else was good is
worth checking into.
when they
Yeah.
did breakfast for lunch and they gave you little triangle hash browns. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Those were pretty good.
Those are good. Yeah.
Man, I don't know how we trusted any of this shit. To be honest,
Have
with
you guys heard the story when I fed my son a frozen corn dog? Basically, it was like a pancake sausage.
Oh, I get what you're talking about. So it's like a pancake covered in sausage.
Yeah, we
It's
call it
corn dog.
pancake on a stick. So instead of a traditional corn dog, it's a piece of sausage wrapped in pancake batter.
Yeah.
And it has like maple.
Sounds like a quick trip deal, but yeah.
Yeah, I fed it to him frozen on accident.
Did you like it?
So
Did you hand it to him ice cold in your head like this is normal?
no. So what happened? This was like this was a Friday, and I was competing that Saturday. So I was like very dieted down.
Your brain wasn't functioning.
My brain wasn't functioning. I took it out. I put it on a paper plate. I put it in the microwave. I never started the microwave, and it was in there for like 5 or 10 minutes. So I was like thinking it was done. So I grabbed the plate. I took it to him. He starts eating. Because we keep those on hand, like when we're like really running behind. He just needs something, and he's eating it. He's like, oh, "It's cold." And I was like, "Yeah, it is cold, buddy. I let it cool down for you, so you're good to go."
Oh, you doubled down.
So he keeps going, and he's like, "Oh, it's just cold, Max. Just eat it. Like you want me to reheat it? And he didn't say anything. He's watching cartoons. He's like, and by this point, it's like halfway gone. Like the stick is sticking out
He's
the
like,
top.
all right, Dad told me to power
Yeah,
through this.
he is. And he's like, ugh, it's freezing. And I was like, no, it's not. Give it to me. And I touched it, and it was literally ice. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, buddy, I'm so sorry. I told you it was freezing. And I was like, no, you're right. So I heated it up, and I gave it to him. And I was like, is that better? Oh, this is good. Thanks, Dad. But he just powered through it. And I was so embarrassed. I told that story to Tatiana, and I cried from laughing so hard. Like, I felt awful, but man, he listened to me, and he was just he was just gnawing away on it.
Trust. Oh,
yeah.
Kids got weird things that they get hooked on with food. Maddie is obsessed with cottage cheese right now.
Ooh.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm not
Can't do it.
Let's go. All right, we better wrap this up. We've gone off the rails. I'm talking about cottage cheese. I threatened Jeff's life.
Yeah,
so we should
solid. I'll fucking kill you was a good way to end it. I don't know why we didn't just end it right there.
Yeah.
But most importantly, we will see you guys all tomorrow from 10 to 2 for the massive grand opening of Elite Summit. If we get 200 signups tomorrow, I'm going to shave my beard.
Let's go.
I don't think I've shaven my beard since, well, God, 7, 8 years. Even then I had a goatee. So, and I have a tiny chin, so it's going to be kind of embarrassing. And Brandon, the GM of Lee Summit, if we get 250, he is going to shave his head, and he has beautiful hair, that Filipino long locks. I mean, it's good stuff. And if we get 300, I'm going to get an S2 tattoo. Me and Luke made this bet.
I thought it was just if you got 3.
No, 3.
I thought it was just if
Wow.
you got 3.
Wow, what a
And you would do a head tat.
no, I would die. Boom.
We have a dude who has a bald head who has an S2 tattoo on his head.
Yeah.
For real, that was in like 2011.
He goes.
I guess I'm not that hardcore.
I'll show you that guy,
I'm
but
not
like
that
it'll be
hardcore.
good inspiration. But hopefully we get to 300 so we can get you that head tat.
Yeah, there's no rule saying where it has to go.
Ooh, I like it.
That's what you said. I didn't agree to that. Yeah, maybe a butt cheek.
I don't even know if we'd want you to do the tramp stamp. To be
Yeah,
honest.
that'd feel weird.
It'd be bad for branding.
Yeah,
Dude.
I could put it on my butt cheek, or maybe my arm. I told my mom whenever she passed away that I would get her name tattooed on my butt. So when she was gone, she'd still be a pain in my ass. So I try to do that. And then every time my mother-in-law annoys me, I always warn her that I have another butt cheek.
That's amazing.
So it's like
That's awesome, dude.
family man.
all right, brother. We love you. We appreciate you, and we look forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, love you guys. Thanks
Yeah,
for having me out, man. I always love being out here.